Hello, hello. I'm Christy Forsyth with Clarity by Christy. This is your weekly reading where we talk all about what's happening in the collective energy, the energy that's impacting each and every one of us, and how we can make the most of it. So I'm going to cover the messages that I have connected with within this energy. I'm going to talk about the things that I'm feeling in this energy that you're probably feeling too, because the people who watch these videos are the people who are tuned into the energy, who are being impacted and influenced by the collective energy. Call it the astrology, call it the energy. I think that it's a mix of a little bit of both. I think astrology gives us a tool to understanding the collective energy. It's one tool out of many. And so I feel into all of this for you. And I'm going to be talking about what's going on with that. And then we're going to build on the messages as we get further along with a tarot reading where we just add to the messages that I've already connected with and connect with any blind spots, anything else that we need to understand. So I always recommend that you stay for the whole reading, that you make sure that you listen to all of the messages so that you can best navigate your week. And by the way, it was live at 1 minute, 11 seconds, and one person watching currently, 11:11. Okay. This is an opening for us. We're in a place of opening. There are lots of new beginnings that are happening. I've been talking about this for a little while, where on the other side of these eclipses, we were ushered into a new chapter, a new time in our lives. Unless, of course, we've been kicking and screaming, trying to hold on to the past. I don't recommend it. I recommend allowing this energy to help support us and to help to move us forward. That is going to set us up for the most success here in this energy. So we're in a place right now where we're kind of just at the beginning of some new beginnings. And so my sense of what this energy is it a place to decide? 11:11 is about a gateway, right? A gateway into a new energy, a new beginning. And so it's a place for us to decide what exactly this new chapter looks like. I think that we've gotten really clear on some things that we need to clear and release. And now it's this decision. Okay, so I know what I don't want, or I've become more aware of that. I've done some clearing and made some adjustments. And now I'm ready to explore, where do I go next? What does this next chapter look like? And I'll be honest and say that I think that it still feels kind of cloudy. I feel kind of cloudy and fuzzy in all of this, but I think that that's purposeful. I've been talking about that. I think that that's intentional because I think we are meant to be trying some things on for size here in this energy, trying some things on to see, is this a fit for me? Is this a fit for me in my life? And I think that we have more flexibility than we ever have had during the course of a new beginning. It's like just playing around with, okay, let me try this and let me try this. And so I think what that looks like for us in our lives is that some things can look a little chaotic. Some things can look a little crazy and all over the place as we're exploring what's next for me and what's going to be the right fit for me, who's going to be the right fit for me, what job is going to be the right fit for me, whatever this is for you, what adjustments do we still need to keep making? And so I want you to allow yourself to experience different things, to try different things and see how you like them and also how you don't like them. Because I think that there are some things that we are trying, that we have tried, that we're like, I don't really think that's the right fit for me. I don't really think that that works for me moving forward. And so rather than get caught up in being bummed that something didn't work out or that something ended up being disappointing in some way, can we instead take that step back and say, you know what, that's helping me to understand what I don't want, which when we understand what we don't want, then we understand what we do want as we move forward, as we try to step into this next chapter, this expansion. This is really an expansion that we're being invited into. But right now we're just kind of trying it out. What does the new wardrobe look like as we step into this next chapter. What does that look like for us? There's also very much like these leftovers from the eclipse where there's a lot of curveballs still. Have you guys found there's been a lot of surprises lately? A lot of things that have caught us off guard. There's a lot of things still coming to the surface, a lot of truth coming to light, a lot of things we're aware of. And I've been saying this, but I don't think that all of it is stuff that we like, right? But maybe stuff that we need to know, things that we need to understand so that we have an awareness of truth so that we can move forward with our lives, so that we can see, if I were to continue down this exact same path, what does that look like for me? And I think that we're getting a lot of warnings in terms of paths that we were going down that weren't a good path to continue going down, that we need to take a sharp left, right? In order to shift into a better new chapter, a better new beginning for us. So pay attention to that. And try not to get too caught up in the disappointment of that. I also feel like it's showing us what we want to be manifesting, because when we know what we want to create, when we know what we want to manifest, when we know what we want, we can put those intentions out there. And we all know, at least I hope you all know at this point in watching me and watching these videos, that we can create so many magical things. We can co-create with God, with the universe, whatever that is, so many magical things in our lives if they are destined for us, or even some of those things that we just want to create in our experience. And so as we become aware of what we don't want, we become aware of what we do want, and we can begin to create that. So actually, funny, I was just reading a comment just before I went live, and somebody was talking about how I made this video about being a spiritual chick dating a normie, and she was saying, well, okay, but there's a lot of normies out there. And when I say normie, what I mean by that, for those of you that don't understand, people who aren't necessarily as connected spiritually or don't understand a lot of these concepts just yet. And so I am going to respond to her, but what I wanted to, or what I feel called to respond with is, okay, because her response to that was, let me back up. Her response to that was that, okay, but there's just a lot of normies out there. I'm not meeting these people who are more enlightened, who are more connected, that kind of stuff. But I think, okay, so if that's been the experience, then what do you want to create from that? It's a perfect example of, okay, so then we reconnect with ourselves and we decide, what do I want to create then? Maybe it's relationships in my life, romantic or otherwise, that allow me to have deep spiritual discussion, that allow me to explore deep spiritual topics, whatever that is, right? But when we know what we don't want, we can start to put the intention out there. This energy also is very much like there's leftovers from before, right? So we're closing out a lot of cycles still. And I think that we're seeing that and we're feeling that. And so you might have some things like these stragglers that are still showing up in your experience when you're like, oh, I thought I dealt with that. Use it as an opportunity to address it in whatever way that you feel like you need to address it. I had something show up for me just this morning where it became crystal clear that some boundaries that I had set were absolutely violated, like completely violated. And so I had an opportunity in that moment. I could say, okay, I'm going to just ignore that and I'm going to just like let that go. Or I'm going to take that to the next level and I'm going to seek out what I need to seek out in order to make this boundary even more strengthened, right? I'm going to take the boundary to the next level. And I did exactly that because I was being called to do that. That was an important part for me because this is not a boundary that I am willing to flex on in any way, shape, or form. There's a message in that for somebody. So anyway, it's so key for us to be paying attention to all of that. We may have these leftovers that are showing up and you're like, oh, I thought I dealt with that. Use it as an opportunity to close out a cycle, to take care of whatever's left. I just had somebody reach out to me and say, I don't know why, but I felt so unlucky this week. Okay, so what is that showing you that needs to be different, that needs to shift in order for you to believe that you are now a lucky person, that you now have better? And some of it is just like the energy is just clearing out, right? Some of it isn't necessarily things that we need to change, although it's always a good question for us to be asking. Some of it is like, let it clear out and the rest will take care of itself. I also feel like in this energy, there's a lot of creativity that's wanting to come to the surface. So we want to make sure that we're taking that time to tune in. I would, if I were you, be writing down the ideas that are coming through right now. Whether you're like making a note in your phone, whether you are writing things down, I think there's a lot. And I actually think like it's almost like it's getting bottlenecked as it's trying to come through because there's so much that's wanting to come through. So take notes, acknowledge what's wanting to come through intuitively for you. That's what that creativity is. And then you can start to sort of build on that. You can start to engineer your own life, right? Where you are asking yourself, how do I take this creative energy, these creative ideas that I have, and give it some kind of a practical expression in your life? How do I take this and start to take steps to move in that direction? Now, you're going to be supported in that because we now, as of today's the 22nd, we have shifted into Scorpio season. Scorpio season is very reflective. It's much more inward. It's an exploration of ourselves. And that's really going to help us to explore these ideas and what we need to do with that, what we need to change with that. And it's also a deeply emotional exploration. So if you find yourself getting emotional over the course of this month, know that that's potentially contributing to that, but it's bringing that up for you in order to allow you to work through it and to clear it, because Scorpio energy is all about death, but also rebirth, right? And so this is a process of metamorphosis that's happening for us on top of all of the metamorphosis that we've already been dealing with. In my membership, I wrote on, because I do like these cheat sheets for the monthly energy and what to expect. And I wrote on it, oh, look, more change, because that's it. It is inviting us to continue to transform and to build on the transformation. And that can be challenging. We're in this place right now as we're just trying things on. I think it's like an identity exploration. Do you guys see that? Have you had that experience where it feels like, let me know, comment. I love to hear from you guys. You guys are quiet today, by the way. But has that come up for you where you're exploring your identity, where you're wondering, like, who even am I and how do I want to show up in this world? I know that's happening for me a lot, and I'm doing a lot of work around that. And one week I think it's going to go in this direction, and then another week I think it's going to go in another direction. And I'm just kind of letting myself be here for the adventure of it, because I don't know. And the best thing that I can do is to show up as me, who I am today, who I am this week, and then we can see from there. Oh, I do have comments. Okay. Hi, Lynette. Nice to see you here. So yeah, feel free to jump in. I have a new streaming system, by the way. So I'm live on Facebook and live on YouTube at the same time. I always love to see that. But let me know how you guys are doing. If you're watching this on my YouTube, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, all the things that always helps to support my channel. And more importantly, to get these messages to the people that they need to get to. So if you feel like these messages are for somebody and they need to hear it, please share it with them as well, because sometimes like we just need this. So as we're going through this exploration of our identity, I think that we're truly connecting with our most authentic self. And that is a powerful thing. We've been on this journey for a few years now of clearing away all the layers and figuring out who we are. But it turns out we're multifaceted. And so there's lots of different parts of ourselves. And so we're learning what parts of ourselves do we want to keep working with and do we want to let shine through and be the primary focus? And how do we honor a little bit of all of those parts as well? There's in this energy through Scorpio season, through this identity exploration. We're not going to call it identity crisis, right? It's an identity exploration. There's an opportunity to, I wrote this down, like we're going to have a lot of opportunities to get to the root of the problem. So that might look uncomfortable, right? Because it might call for us to look into things and feel into things and explore things. But this energy is not a band-aid. This energy is the cure. This energy is going to allow us to really shift into true healing for ourselves on a very deep level. So you may find that you're becoming very aware of, oh, I thought that the problem was this, but it's really this. And that's the root of the problem becoming clear. Even with health issues that are coming up, I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities to understand, okay, like what's actually going on with my body, with my mental health, whatever that is, what's actually going on, and becoming aware of that so that we can address it and heal it and be able to move forward and step into this new phase of our lives in a more powerful way. So yeah, that's a lot that we have going on, but it's a really beautiful journey. And I think that there's a lot of positive surprises that are happening, that will be happening. These are important shifts that are happening for us right now. I would love to hear, how are your lives changing? What's going on for you as I pull these cards? What changes have been showing up? Where have you been challenged? Where do you, do you feel like you're kind of in between? I felt like I'm in between a little bit. So it's like they say, when one door closes, another one opens, but it sure can be hell in the hallway. But I say that the hallway is what you make it, right? That the hallway is a really beautiful place as we are preparing for these new beginnings that are coming in. But let me know how you guys are doing. If you're watching the replay, hit me with a hashtag replay, say hello. I always love to hear from you guys and know who's watching these videos. It's so funny. I'm always surprised because people will say something to me and they'll be like, oh, I watch your videos all the time. And I love to hear. I love to hear who's watching them. I love to hear who makes it to the end. It just makes me really happy. But sometimes it surprises me, like the people who do watch and who watch regularly, because they don't hear from you guys. And that's okay. I'm not calling you out because I understand not everybody wants to comment. Not everybody wants to participate, right? But I would love it if you would. Love to see your name come across my screen. How are you giving practical expression to this creative energy? Where have you felt creative? What ideas are coming through? I would love to hear that. Okay. All right. Yeah, this is beautiful. It's beautiful. There's a lot of good happening. Are you guys finding? I felt really blessed this week in so many ways, in spite of, certain things coming up and certain things continuing to clear out. But I felt really blessed, and I've had a lot of things I've just been incredibly, incredibly grateful for. So the first card is the Knight of Swords. We continue here with truth, with seeing what we need to see, with being shown what we need to be shown, with saying what we need to say, and getting hit hard and fast with these ideas. So this is, again, why I'm saying keep a notebook with you, or keep notes in your phone or something. Make sure you're writing this stuff down, because this stuff is gold, whatever is coming through. And with that Knight of Swords, it's like quick. It comes in rapidly. And this might even be people coming in to have a conversation with us, with a truth that we're surprised by. Again, don't hide from the truth. Don't hide from what's wanting to come through, because understanding that this is meant to show us a better path for us, a better experience for us, a better thing that we need to understand. The next card that we have here is the Emperor. And the Emperor is about us stepping into our power. I think we had both of these cards last week, by the way. So the Emperor is about stepping into our power. But I get the sense, and I'm curious if you guys can see, it almost looks like, I've never noticed this before. You see that ball that he's got there in his hand? It almost looked to me for a moment like a crystal ball. And I don't think it's supposed to be that, but I read intuitively. And so I think it's like in this particular scenario, this particular story, he's taking a look at, how do I want to build my life? How do I want to build my empire? What's going to be important? And so he's taking down the ideas, and then he's taking them and he is taking practical measures. He is taking actions to make that happen. And I think that that's so important in this energy. I've been talking about that a lot lately, how it's so important to not be waiting and for us to right now identify, how can I show up as the best version of myself today? What actions does she take? How does she approach her life? How does she approach her business? How does she approach her children? How does she do it, right? What does that look like? How does she approach her health? So those are important questions. And I think like we're envisioning where we're moving, where we're going. What does this empire look like that we're building? And who's going to be around for that? What's going to be around for that? I think we're exploring all of that. This is also, we just are on the other side of that Aries full moon. It's been an invitation to step into our power, right? When I said we're aware of boundaries and our boundaries need to be strong right now if they're important to us, I meant that because boundaries right now are really key, and it's so important that we're honoring those. And the Emperor, he doesn't mess around with boundaries. His boundaries are his boundaries, period, the end. The next card that we have, hi Michelle, nice to see you on here, the Wheel of Fortune. So a shift, a change, us moving into a luckier time. So that's important. Somebody needs to hear that too. Us moving into a luckier time. Moving into a time where it feels like a real shift. Like this is us really leaning into this new chapter that we've been shifting into, and recognizing that this new chapter doesn't have to just be a repeat of the old chapter, that the pain of the past, the hardship of the past doesn't have to show up in this new chapter. This new chapter truly gets to be a new chapter for ourselves. And so can we just allow for that and lean into that and lean into the blessings that are wanting to come in? And again, if it doesn't, even if it doesn't feel like a blessing, knowing that it's all happening for us is so important. And to just kind of be willing to flow and move with where the energy is going. 9 of Cups in reverse. We may be measuring our success differently. We may be taking a look at what we thought we wanted and going, you know what, that's not really what I want anymore. That doesn't align for me. That isn't the right fit anymore. And so we're trying other things on for size. And I do think that we're going to be playing around with that a little bit. So you're going to find other things that you don't like that don't fit, but you're also going to find new things that do fit. Hi, Carlos. Nice to see you. Absolutely. And he says, thanks for the message. Hi, Jen. Nice to see you too. Let's see. I love that these can come through with this. Nice to see you guys here. Yeah, so we're taking a look at that, and that's really key and important. Now, next card up, 3 of Cups. We're creating a life, we're celebrating, and what isn't worth celebrating, we're clearing and releasing, right? Who or what isn't celebrating us, isn't celebrating the life that we're creating together, the work that we're doing, the people who aren't seeing us, that doesn't belong anymore. But we are moving in a direction where we're feeling seen in different ways, and we're being open to feeling seen in different ways, and we're being open to being celebrated and to celebrating with other people. Rick says, I feel lucky 2 lives in one day. Yeah, I have been live twice today. Thanks for jumping on both. So yeah, there's a celebration that's happening. Like these last 3 cards are all cups. It's a celebration. It's a fulfillment. It's our hearts. It's us truly feeling connected to our hearts, not just this matrix of a world that we're going through the motions of doing the things that we're supposed to be doing. This is about enjoying the time and creating what we want and can and feel called to while we're here, making the most of the time that we have here. And how are we going to do that if we're not exploring and trying different things and seeing where we want that to go? And then we decide, right? The Knight of Cups. We decide what direction we need to go. I do feel like for some people, like this is some kind of an offering that's being put in front of us. This can be a love offering. It doesn't have to be. It can just be somebody wanting to connect in some way. And I do feel that here with this energy. Or it could be some kind of an offer that's coming in that's just near and dear to our heart, that really makes us happy, that puts us in a situation where we're excited about life. We're feeling youthful again. We're feeling ready to lean into new possibilities. I feel that here with this energy. So I think we have a lot of great stuff that's coming in, and we may find ourselves in a position where we're also offering that to other people or in other situations where part of us trying things on for size is to say, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about us trying this and exploring that together? So yeah, lots of possibilities, lots of things moving around, lots of things happening. This is about us creating the future that is the best fit for us, creating the present that is the best fit for us. And that's going to come through exploring and honoring what feels best and right to us, sticking to our boundaries, and just kind of seeing where it all leads. And then we can start to follow through with these ideas that we're feeling called to follow through with and seeing where that leads. And so it's all just this beautiful adventure and exploration. And I'm here for it. I think this is going to be a beautiful week in spite of all the surprises and the curveballs and the truths and all of that stuff. I think it's all happening for us, and I think that it's going to be really beautiful. All right, guys, take care. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you soon with another video.